Sounds good.
Alrighty, guys. So this is Purpose Project video, I believe 11 or 12, 10, 11 or 12 with a friend of mine, Noah. Um, so yeah, I guess typically keep it going how I've been doing it. Noah, is there anything you'd like the audience to, know about you as an introduction?
Yeah, sure. So, just to give a little bit of information about myself, my name is Noah McAdams. I'm a sophomore at Boston College. I'll be graduating class of 25, going there studying finance and co-concentrating in entrepreneurship. Um, Recently found a passion for entrepreneurship with my brand called Six Man Hustle. Got it on the shirt, got it on the hoodie, got it back here on the TV. So, but yeah, it's a basketball-based apparel brand focused around building a community based on people who value hard work, dedication, and just hustle in general. And those are all like the qualities of six man in basketball, or at least a good six man. So, yeah, and then originally from Pittsburgh, PA, graduated Swickley Academy class of 21. So that's how I know Will.
Yeah. So Noah and I, we weren't ever super close. I don't even know if we were ever on a sport team together, but
Not
we
sure.
definitely like knew of each other. I think you
Yeah,
were
of course.
21. Uh,
Hmm.
we were in high school together. But
Hmm.
yeah, I think, Boston College, even being in Boston, I think, that was actually something I was going to ask you was, what was the motivation behind Six Man Hustle? I think personally, I attended their first event or one of their first events, but I think it's a cool thing. I mean, these guys got, you can build your own team and you could also customize, a shirt, with Six Man Hustle. I'm not sure exactly how you guys do that, but it's kind of a cool thing. I know myself, I've thought of, creating an application where you can search up like local pickup games. It's kind
Hmm.
of similar to that, but it's more of like, I guess it's more of a brand and you guys have merch. Uh, Recently, I've been repping this for the Purpose Project, but I'll have to post a picture of your guys' merch at some point over
Oh,
the
of
course
course.
of the week or something. I love the logo. I think it's kind of a cool logo.
Yeah, thank you. This was my first kind of try at some serious graphic design. I actually designed the logo myself. The most experience I'd had with Photoshop before this was like a class in middle school or something like that. So, but yeah, no, I appreciate that. It's cool to be able to make something and then put it on a shirt and share that with people.
Yeah, I guess something. How about what I guess three things. What would you say about, something that you take pride in or like about Swickley Academy as well as Boston College so far, as well as Six Man Hustle?
Yeah, sure. For Strictly Academy, honestly, like had a really positive experience there. I ended up leaving. I was almost there for my entire schooling. I was there from preschool to sixth grade, and then took a leave to LA for my dad's job. Was there for seventh and eighth grade. Came back part of freshman year, and then finished out the rest of my high school career at SA. And honestly, I think just the culture there. Like everyone's very focused on just kind of like succeeding and putting their best foot forward. And I feel like having that type of culture, and then also a little bit of a competitive nature, helped prepare me for college. And then as far as BC, um, just proud of how I've been able to kind of manage the business with school. College is kind of like a whole other job. So if you're going to school and getting an education, that's accomplishment in itself. So be proud of yourself for that. Uh, but yeah, I think just I've gotten a lot better at my time management skills, and I feel like that's helped me a lot in being able to, put my energy towards school, but then also towards passions like six man hustle or reading a book or hanging out with friends, all that good stuff. And then for six man hustle, I'm really just like proud of all the hard work we put in. I'd say our biggest accomplishment so far that I enjoyed the most was the winter tournament that we put together, which Will, you were at. So we had 10 teams come out and compete for a $500 cash prize. Everyone got like two games, so it ran for maybe 4 or 5 hours, something like that. everyone said they had a really good time, and we got like a lot of really positive feedback on that. So that was really encouraging to just kind of know that we have kind of like the values in our company and the ability to kind of like resonate with people and build that community that we kind of set out initially to create.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great response. Um, yeah, it's kind of funny, that talking about Swickley. I remember I was a junior in high school and I was playing golf, and I'm pretty sure I just assumed everyone that went to high school went to college. So I just like was asking people like, "Oh, where are you going to college? Where are you going to college?" And the one dude's like, "What are you talking about? Like, I'm not going to college." And I was like, "The heck?" I
Right.
think quickly, I mean, it's like what I'll say about it. In addition to what you said, I think mostly had a great time at Swickley, and I think it's a small school, so you don't get maybe I think Boston College is probably a lot bigger and it's in a city, so that may have been a
Yeah.
jump, but
A
I mean,
little
I
bit.
think
Yeah.
it teaches you going to like any good school teaches you the study habits and like the groundwork, the fundamentals of how to study for a test, how to interact with teachers, how to interact with your peers, how to play on sports teams. Um, and then you can take that, with you throughout the rest of your life. Um, yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, it's just something because I know sometimes myself would be like, oh, school is, not a necessity, but I think without
Hmm.
school, this world would be a lot more probably disordered than it is already.
For
Um,
sure.
but I think, something I'm working on is, and I don't know how much you personally value this or not, is loyalty. So even though I didn't graduate, from my college that I was attending, I'll still, check in on, their LinkedIn or their Instagram to see how their sports teams are doing. And then as well as Swickley Academy, I'd love to be involved in whatever they're doing, as well as, any friends that are doing entrepreneurial stuff. That's something that I want to do in life. So it's I have this thing recently of trying to go around and people that I know and not know and buy their merch. So that just motivates me to try to create some of my own stuff and continue pushing along with my personal ideas. But yeah, I mean, six man hustle. I'm not sure if you guys are what you guys have planned for this upcoming summer back in Pittsburgh, or if you guys have anything else going on in Boston or wherever your partner, your business partner is wherever he is. But yeah, I mean, it was a really cool event. You guys had,
Thank you.
food, merch, a
Yep.
tournament had this like kind of like I don't know what you'd call it. It's kind of like a green screen that I think you guys.
Yeah, we had like a big banner up for people
Yeah,
to take photos in front of. Yeah, it was really cool. We really kind of threw it all together last minute, but we were really happy with how it turned out.
yeah. So I guess this is, um, yeah. I mean, I guess we did decide on questions a while back, but I guess moving forward, this discussion, how do you think you can continue to find that spark with the six man hustle?
That's a good question. It can definitely be tough at times. I mean, for me, being at school is kind of like the first priority for me. So that's where the majority of my energy goes. And there are definitely some days where I just really don't have the energy to do much for the business. My creativity is low, my energy is low. I can't focus that well. And, I've kind of come to realize like that's okay. Like sometimes you need those days where you dedicate more of your energy to one area, take some time to rest, and then, go after what you're passionate about. I think for me, what's really helped me kind of keep the spark going is having a business partner. So I created this with the guy by the name of Alex Matlack. Will knows him. We graduated together and played on the same basketball team all the way through high school. So one of my closest friends. And just kind of having another person to be there to kind of pick up the slack where you might not have the energy for that has really helped, I think, us as a team just kind of push forward, keep coming out with new ideas. We just met over spring break. Luckily, our spring breaks lined up. We just sat down for a few hours and just talked about, just all of our hopes and dreams for the brand, and then kind of narrowed it down, focused on a few things, and we've got our plan for the next few months. So I think just being able to have that other person to kind of ground you when things aren't going right, and pick up the slack when you're slacking, I think is really great to have.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you personally operate, but I know a lot of probably entrepreneurs get super pumped up with the idea initially. And the thing is that, if something isn't going right, if they're losing a ton of money, if you're losing a massive amount of money, yeah, maybe it's time to try to search for another option. But I
Mhm.
think more so it's just level of interest with a lot of entrepreneurial projects and possibly, financial, uh, navigating financially um, can possibly impact that. But I think more than anything, it's just level of interest. So trying to, at least for myself, trying to find ways to, you know, have be dedicated towards, the business and, the project that you're working on. And for myself, I've written down on like, my bedside table, like just things that I want to be doing every single day. Because I think,
Mhm.
it's just kind of a simple idea, at least. If you do a little bit for, of Six Man Hustle, if I do a little bit of, the Purpose Project, or Wawa Car Services every single day, then
Mhm.
that time, 365 days in a year, if you do an hour a day, that's 365 hours. I've been, obviously it's never going to be, exactly that, but I think, there doesn't really have to be necessarily a huge spark in any successful, or, however you would define the success of Six Man Hustle. However, I would define the success of Wawa or the Purpose Project. It's like there doesn't really have to be a huge spark. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I was just curious for yourself. I think, yeah, I mean, finding a solid business partner is a great, that's probably something that a lot of people would want to do.
Yeah,
And
that's definitely my biggest recommendation. If you want to start a business venture, unless it's something that you're really, really good at and it's something that you can manage on your own, I definitely recommend going with a partner. Just kind of like I talked about before, like they're always there to just kind of like pick you up when you need it, and you do the same for them. So I think just having another perspective too is huge.
yeah. And then I guess we don't really, I mean, we know each other, but I guess we're not like, super best friends, at least at the moment. Um, and basically what I wrote down is how can individuals or people like me support individuals or people like you?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I feel like if you have a friend that's doing something entrepreneurial, whether it's, starting a business or, car cleaning service or a merch company, anything like that, if you have the extra cash, buy something from them. If you don't have the extra cash, that's not an excuse to not do anything. Share their stuff on social media, try to network a little bit for them. Really anything you can do to help them out. Like that one connection you make for them might be their big break in the future. So I think just, kind of helping out in whatever way you can, especially when it's your friends, is like the most important thing you can do. It doesn't necessarily have to be a monetary thing where, like I don't expect all my friends to go out and buy Six Man Hustle shirts. Of course, I'd love them all too, but if they can just, repost some of our stuff, share some of our videos with like their friends, that's as much as I can ask.
Yeah. I mean, who knows how truly accurate, I mean, a lot of the Instagram stuff is in terms of like the amount of followers, because I've never personally actually counted, all of my followers on Instagram. So who knows if that number is truly accurate or not. But if you think about, if you have 10 friends and they each have, like 300 followers,
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's, 3,000 people that, have the opportunity if they repost something of yours, it's like that's, at least a lot of people that know about, your business or my business or the Purpose Project or Wawa or whatever, Six Man Hustle. So that's a lot of people. And, I think you got to think that at least one of those, 3,000 would, at least want to participate or support, someone that they know, especially, me and you. It's like we grew up in the same town. We went to the same school. You know, we played sport. You played, yeah, you played basketball, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, I can't remember. entirely, but we played on the same sports. It's like, uh,
Mhm.
so, you probably knew my sister, Haley. You definitely did,
Mhm.
uh, and maybe Skylar as well. But it's like, we come from Pittsburgh. And it's like I was thinking today. It's like, where's the community of Pittsburgh? We should be trying to cultivate. I mean, maybe it's a cheesy, naive thought, but I think it's kind of a cool thing to create like a community of Pittsburgh, community of, a city of, you know, uh, cultivate some type of community within Pittsburgh. I know obviously you're in Boston College right now, but I see, your picture above you. So I
Sure.
think that's cool. I have a lot of, I've been wearing, you probably can't see, but this bracelet. It's like a Pittsburgh Pirate Loci bracelet, and
Nice.
it's just basically to remind me, maybe sometimes I don't like being raised and born in Pittsburgh. I don't like Pittsburgh, the weather. Sometimes get fed up with whatever, but it's like that's the city I was born in. It's the city that I plan to stay in for the immediate future. Um, and there's a lot of opportunities here as well as Boston. So I think that's something for myself truly that I am trying to work on is, my dedication to not only my family, and I think this is a big thing for anybody, dedication to family, friends, relationships like girlfriend, boyfriend, and then also, uh, you know, your town or your city. I think some cities might do this better than others, but I think uh, it's kind of cool with Instagram. Like you see Barstool, Pittsburgh, you're starting to see those little communities pop up here and there, but that is something that I seriously want to, I think, would benefit myself and other people as well. If I can muster the dedication, I think that kind of goes also, as well as, supporting, friendships.
Yeah, I really like the point you make about just kind of creating a community from Pittsburgh because I feel like, you look at like Steelers fans, I feel like we're a pretty tight knit bunch. I feel like, Pitts like people from Pittsburgh really kind of stick together, but there might not necessarily be like a kind of prevalent, culture there. But I think at least with our goal in Six Man Hustle, it's kind of like a great market to start in. Pittsburgh was, built on steel and known for their, grit and toughness. Same with like the Steelers and the steel curtain defense. It's like, it all kind of ties together with, some of the values that we have in our brand. So honestly, I see Pittsburgh is a really, valuable place for us to expand to. It's the home roots and then also the people that, I think could really, really resonate with what we're doing.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely don't want to generalize, but from what it seemed, just, profiling, the people that were a part of, your guys' first event, you said you had 10 teams.
We did, yeah.
Probably about 50, 60 people show it. Maybe, roughly maybe around 100 people were in the area through like
Mhm.
one of your guys' first events. So I think that's awesome. I mean, I don't know how you guys necessarily marketed or found all those people. But it definitely didn't seem like they were all coming from our town. It probably seemed like they're coming from all, throughout Pittsburgh. So I think
Yeah, we had
especially
them from
offering,
man from all over the place.
not to say that any other gym isn't super awesome, but the gym at Swickley Academy, is completely new. It's, state of the art. It's basically
Hmm.
it could be a college gym, probably better than a lot of college gyms. Uh, just to offer like, an outing, with food, with merch, a tournament. I think it's just a good thing, especially, post COVID to get people out of the house and active.
I agree.
It's a great initiative. Um,
Thank
and also, something, I'm not sure what you're, looking for the future with, jobs and such. Um, but, it's a great, great thing if you want to, focus on whatever. But I think it's a great thing, regardless of what you do, to have that on your to have that on your resume.
you. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Yeah, I think
Excuse me.
just as far as like technical experience that I've gotten from the business and like this kind of like real world experience with just what it takes to overcome problems, find solutions, the kind of perseverance that you have to have. I feel like just that experience alone in the whatever it's been 8 months that we've been running the business has been extremely valuable. It's something that I can talk about a lot with employers. You know, they always, I'm, I'm looking into consulting as my career path for the future. And in the interview prep, they ask like a certain type of questions, and you know, some of them are normally around like conflict resolution, or finding a solution to a problem, or you know, something like that. So just having the experience from this is really awesome to pull from, and it's also something that you know, I'm passionate about too. So it's, you know, just gives me that much more to talk about.
Yeah, it's cool. I think consulting is, you know, it's something I've considered as well, actually. Then yeah, I guess the next question is, in my eyes, you have the making of a balanced individual, possibly one that also has problem solving and leadership capabilities. How do you aspire possibly to utilize this to your benefit and possibly impact society in a way that could be of benefit to those you care about or support your personal ideologies?
Good question. I mean, I think I'd definitely like to make, you know, some kind of a positive impact in the world. And I feel like that was part of the spark behind Six Man Hustle, because we're really focused around kind of building a community more than anything. And Yeah, community has always been really important to me, just through life in general. You know, friends, family, peers, all the way through school. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly where my future will take me, or you know, it'll be Six Man Hustle that leaves, you know, the big impact or the impact that I want. But I feel like there's definitely an opportunity for me to do something that, you know, helps people in this life. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, I mean, it's tough, you know, it's, I think that, you know, it'd be, you know, easier, you know, to, um, I don't know you super well. I don't know what you've been through, but I know for myself at least, you know, I guess some of my thought process with what I've been through personally, um, uh, you know, I think that, you know, I've seen a lot, you know, how good life can get, and I've also seen how bad life can get. So it's like, you know, I think, you know, with business as well, kind of, you know, we're jumping a little all over the place now, but with business as well, you know, it's like you're gonna have up, you know, it's just like sports, you know, it's not always gonna go the way that, you know, you think it's gonna go. You know what I'm saying? It's not always gonna get, you know, you're not always gonna get what you're wanting. You're not, the outcome isn't always gonna be, you know, the thing you're envisioning. It's kind of like golf, you know, it's like I always tell my friends, it's like, how many times do you hit a golf shot exactly as you want? You know what I'm saying? Exactly as you envision. You know,
Hmm.
it doesn't happen often. I've had a couple rounds where it's been like almost seems too good to be true. And it just went like that throughout the entire round. Uh,
Hmm.
Even just if you think about a day in general, it's like, you know, every single person, you know, every day, like some days you might just, you know, have like, you know, win the lottery day and, you know, just have just a euphoric, fully energized and just amazing day all the time. But you know, it's just, you know, I think, you know, any entrepreneurship is a personal project and you don't have a boss. You know what I'm saying? I don't know you're in Alex's relationship, but you know, I'm assuming it's not like one is overpowering the other. I'm assuming it's kind of more of like an equal effort. And, you know, I
Yeah,
just think
definitely.
it's, you know, this is a capitalistic society, and a lot of, you know, the big businesses we've seen, um, and I know of, you know, I was, you know, Apple, you know, it's like that's something everyone knows about, you know, Steve Wozniak and, you know, or sorry, Steve Jobs and Woz, you know, they started in their garage,
Hmm.
and, you know, it's two people and they grew to like a 4,000 person is what I was hearing in the interview. So it's just, I think anyone out there who is watching this in motivation of themselves thinking about creating a small business, or that already has a small business and is possibly, you know, wanting to jump out of it. Obviously it's going to depend situation to situation, but if it's something that you truly loved, at some point or another, then, you know, you're going to love it again at some moment down the line, even if, you know, you're in a rut right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you personally, but, you know, just in general, I think, you know, just at thinking about it, even as, possibly a productive thing, as well as, like I said before, to reiterate, just trying to do something little each and every day to support the business that, you're trying to grow, or the community you're trying to build. Um, I just think it'd be awesome, I think, any business, that is existing for a decent amount of time, you'll see for like regular people come in, whether it's at restaurants, um, so get to know people better and form relationships if you value that, as well as friendships if you value that, which I'm not sure if you do or not. Um, but so yeah, I think problem solving is, uh, I think that was, something that's come up twice in this conversation, but you know, uh, it's something that I think is a critical uh, skill set to have. But yeah, I guess moving on to the next question. What is your perspective about the ability to think? I know I view it with mixed opinions. However, I've said and truly meant that it is genuinely something that is crucial to living. What can you say to those individuals like you specifically that might support the thinking presence of the world which we currently inhabit?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I've learned quite a few different kind of theories of study on thinking and thought. I took a class that's offered here at BC last year called Perspectives on Western Culture. It was like a full year course, 6 credits each semester. It was like a philosophy and theology course. So um, one of the common themes that you kind of read through a lot of philosophers who talk about thought or thinking or just the thinking process, knowledge in general, etc., is that it's one of the most important things. And I think just kind of like generalizing a little bit, it's just take the time to think about what matters to you, uh, take the time to be thoughtful, and yeah, just take the time to think and reflect. I think that thinking is a very important thing. It's something that I do a lot. I'm a bit more of an introverted person, so I'd say I do it more than others. I have a pretty rich inner world, but I think just taking the time to pause and reflect and think about whatever may be troubling you, whatever goals you have for the future, really anything, like just take the time to slow down and think. So I think it's a really important thing to do. So it sounds simple, like just think about stuff, but sometimes the world's moving a little bit too fast, and we don't always slow down enough to give us that time to think. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a huge thing. I think yeah, I mean it's kind of like, certain people might just be predisposed somehow through evolution, through whatever, it's possibly a mystery of how people, present themselves the way they do. It could be environmental things, evolution, it could be, science, you know, which a lot evolution and, development, environmental stuff, or it could be, more mystical, spiritual kind of things that just are. And, I think it's just a thing of, I mean, it's a serious topic of conversation. Some people are just naturally better able to think about things than other people. Some people are naturally more articulate, and some people are naturally, maybe just physically stronger than other people for whatever reason. And I think, you know, it's something that I've been personally pondering. Whether we are resistant to, you know, try to communicate our, abilities to one another, or if it's something that we think, could lead to our downfall. Um, I think working as a team, you're being vulnerable to one another. And it's almost, I've been on this weird thing of, I don't know if you know of the singer Halsey,
Not
which
really.
like she kind of like basically sees us as kind of like a part of a machine. Um, And it's kind of
Mm,
a weird take on life. Like like humanity collectively is a part of like a machine. I mean, a more natural way to look at
mhm.
it is, if you've ever heard of aspen trees, they're all connected underground. At least
Right.
that's what I know about. Aspen trees are connected underground. They're a single
Mhm.
organism. Um, so I think, there's certain people, like I said, that are just better able to think for whatever reason, just think more fluidly and think about all the different outcomes and possibilities, which probably can get really overwhelming at times. And then there are people that are just better able to lead, just have like this presence that are, just better able to lead. And then there's, people that are better able to do. And I've thought about, think, possibly interpret or lead, or, like doing things. So it's just something that's interesting because you don't really hear a lot of talk. I'm not sure if it's kind of like an unsaid thing or if it's just something that, we know about, but we're not able to, pinpoint. Um, so it's just an interesting thing. I mean, I think, you know, we all think, but it's just in different ways. We use different part of our brains. And some people might just use their brains more than others. It's kind of like, it's inside your body. So it's like you don't really think about it so much, but it's like, some people, just, it's use your arm more. So I don't think it's too naive to think some people might just be using their brains more than other people. Um, so that's a whole different topic of conversation. But I think, I've actually said at one point that thinking is the X factor. Although it can be extremely frustrating and chaotic, thinking without thinking, it's like, who knows if the airplane would ever have been created? Who knows if any of these things would have ever been created? Because some of these things are just so kind of like crazy, that we now just kind of, accept without really thinking about it, oftentimes. But that's why I'm always curious because you said you're more of an introvert, and I never want a profile, but I do think myself personally, not to get too forward or direct, I can get, a pretty decent read on individuals. Um, but I think, it's hugely important to do this self-reflection, to know of yourself as an introvert or extrovert, to know of yourself as a thinker, interpret, or doer, so that, yeah, I mean, you can try to figure out a position in life where you can thrive and be in a team where people are going to value you for what you for like your strengths. Um,
Yeah, I
but
totally agree with that. Yeah. No, I think I would agree. Everyone has different strengths. Everyone has different weaknesses. Nobody's you know good or bad or perfect or imperfect. It's just or everyone's imperfect. Everyone's got their flaws. Nobody is perfect. Um, but I think it's really about finding those areas in your life that you're really strong in or areas that you're really passionate about, and just playing on those. I couldn't agree more with what you said. Some people are the thinkers, some people are the leaders, and some people are the doers. And I think if you play to your strength, you can succeed in any one of those roles. It's not like one of those is better than the other. And I think tying it back to six man hustle, that's kind of what we believe within the community that we're trying to build. The six man, for those of you that may not know basketball super well, the six man is the first person that comes off the bench. They take the place of one of the starters. And they're not normally the most skilled player on the court or the most talented, but they are known as one of the hardest working individuals, and that's what helps them succeed in their field. Rarely is the six man like actually the most talented player on the team, but you can always guarantee them on doing. You can always guarantee them putting in, the extra time in the gym, the hard work, playing to their strengths, doing what they can to help the team succeed. I think there's a lot of value in that because unfortunately, we weren't all born, to be stars. I wish I could go, be 7 feet tall, dunking a basketball, dropping 50 points a game. Like that would be awesome, right? But unfortunately, we're not all made that way. So, but I do believe that everyone has their own unique strengths that they can play to. It's just about taking the time to slow down and think and figure out, what you're really passionate about and what you feel like you can succeed in. But There's always an opportunity to try new things, and I would, say that more than anything is go try new things. If you've got an inkling of a passion for something, like just go try it. It might be the next thing that you absolutely love, or the thing that you end up doing for the rest of your life. You never know. So take the time to try some new things, reflect on it, and yeah, just go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I think, what I've typically said is, it's something I would like to say every single time I hop on the podcast, is if anyone's watching this and they're interested in contributing to the purpose project, it's, a decently serious endeavor. I think finding purpose for everybody is something that, we've been grappling with and struggling with for as long as we've existed. Whether we've actually known it or not, trying to find positions where we can each be successful, no matter, personality, race, religion, any of the variables, political association, cities. I mean, friend groups. There's so much stuff, to figure out ways to fit in and, generally use your strengths to support those around you. Um, because I think, I know for myself, I was big on this thing. I was just like, kind of in a crazy mood, and I was like, I want to maximize the human potential. I want to maximize the human experience, and I think that working as a team, quite simply, is one of the best ways to do that. You know what I'm saying? I think six man hustle, as James Harden was six man. I can't really think of anybody else, but yeah, I mean, it's a great name. It's kind of, yeah, I wouldn't say six man is always the underdog, but it's as you said. I mean, I think six man, may not be the most talented. He may be more talented than some of the starters, but it's someone that doesn't get all of the attention necessarily, and regardless, keeps plugging along. But I'm truly think, I mean, it's something that I'd love to hear in the comments, assuming anyone else is watching this or skipping around. Um, you know, I think, truly I would love to hear what other people think about, trying to be, reflective in life and try to figure out ways that we can all work as a team in friend groups and relationships in, businesses. Because I think, truly I've experienced personally, moments of, great teamwork and great chemistry and bonding amongst friends. And I think recently I personally have been isolating away from, uh, engaging with friends. But I think, just those moments of, we're all on the same page is just, it's just worth it. It's on top of any material thing. Um, it really is, but it's something to consider. Uh, but yeah, I mean, once again, be kind is what I've been wearing on this purpose project. I think, we all go through struggles, but I think a true testament of anyone's character is, no matter what they've been through, no matter what you go through, what I go through, just making an effort to generally, be a kind person. Um, I think
Couldn't agree more.
kindness and hustling kind of, battle with each other because, a lot of hustling, you got to kind of put your head down and just kind of grind it out. But I still think you can be a kind person while also being kind of more edgy and, uh, just kind of grinding. But
Yeah, no,
yeah,
I
I
agree.
mean,
I feel like you can still hustle while, being kind. Hustle goes in hand with like a lot of things. It's really more about just kind of like the hard work and the drive that comes with it. But do everything with kindness and with compassion for others and for yourself. Hustle's no good if you're not kind to yourself and you're always expecting too much. You're going to lose that motivation pretty quick. So, be kind to others, be kind to yourself. So I think that's a great message.
yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, is there anything I guess we've kind of talked about this a little, but is there anything that you'd like to, maybe say to any, 20-ish year old uh specifically white, college dude, um or entrepreneur that's a young entrepreneur? Is there anything you'd like to say to them to close this out?
Yeah, sure. To you know, anyone of, you know, any age of any race, if you want to start a business, it's never too early or too late to do it. I would say just go for it, honestly. It really could be like the best thing that happens to you or something that you find a lot of joy and passion in. And find someone else that understands you, that's on that kind of same wavelength as you. So you can really kind of fall in sync on that creative process and know when you need to pick up for each other. So I'd say go after it. If you want to be an entrepreneur, do it. It's not as hard or as daunting as you might think, but if you want to be successful, it is a lot more it is a lot more hard work. But if you have the love for it, if you have the determination and the time, like do it. You can change people's lives with it. You can impact a lot of people positively with it. It's a really awesome feeling when you see your hard work in something pay off and see other people you know understand where you're going with it and see the value in your brand. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say go for it, man.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to anyone, something that I want to emphasize, I'm pretty sure I've talked about this briefly in the video beforehand, but something that at least I want you to think about is, and as well as myself, I'm trying to click it through my head and implement it into life, but just dedicating yourself, just I was telling my family, it's like, when was the last person you've seen like fully dedicate themselves? And I don't think that has to be, nonstop 24/7, going a million miles an hour, but just generally speaking on a day-to-day basis, dedicating themselves to, you know, every aspect of, generally a lot of aspects of your life. I think, it's a big feat, it's a big expectation of yourself, but, I think, it's just, that's just something, dedication. Um, that's what I'm saying. Like, when was the last time? I don't know if you've ever, if you can think of anybody that that's like dedicating themselves to a cause or to a person or to a relationship. It's something that you know I think is just a really cool thing. I know you see like top athletes like Tiger Woods, um, Tom Brady. I can think of definitely dedicated himself. Um, you know, but it's just it's just a thing of if you kind of you know anyone that's watching this still if you, dedicate yourself to to something someone, if it's a relationship, a girl that you're dating, or a group of friends that you're if you guys have got each other's back, no matter what, if you're dedicating yourselves generally 100%, um which is a really difficult thing, but you're going to form bonds that are just so foreign to most relationships. And it's a serious thing, it's a really serious topic of conversation, dedicating yourselves, because who knows what happens um you know after this. And it's I think it's trying to make the most of it, trying to make the most of your team that you're around, the college experience you're currently in. For me it's kind of like I've had months where, I've just been so out of it, like really, really down and out. And, I've missed opportunities. So I think, as well as dedication, what you do in your moments of weakness, what you do in your moments of trial or doubt, really define you as a person. Um, so I think we've talked about a lot of great stuff. And, we rolled
I mean,
through.
just to add on,
Yeah.
do you mind if I add on another point?
No, no.
Yeah, I mean, just to add on to your point of dedication there, it's something that's I feel like is really hard to do, and I would be a hypocrite if I told you you have to be dedicated to something 100% of the time, because I am nowhere near that. Um, even just with like my energy being split between school and the business and everything, I'm never going to be able to stay completely dedicated to something. But I think there is a level of dedication that you can have to just kind of constant improvement. Like you said, just taking an hour, half hour, 15 minutes out of your day to do something you enjoy, to do something that betters yourself or something that you're working on. I think that's dedication in and of itself. And, you can get up to that point where You can just work hours on end on something that you're super passionate about, but it's not just going to happen overnight. It's something that I've realized. I still need to build up the skills to be able to just start, knocking out designs. I'm still pretty new to graphic design, so it just takes a lot of practice, a lot of time, a lot of just compassion for yourself, a lot of grace, and just sticking with it and doing a little bit every day. And before you know it, you'll be even better than you could have expected, or created something even better than you could have imagined. So, of
Yeah, I mean, I think you know Hudson. You do definitely know Hudson.
course,
Played basketball in the summers, as well as I'm pretty sure he was at the Six Man Hustle. But as I was
they
telling
was.
him, I mean, he's also interested in entrepreneurial stuff. So what
Mm-hmm.
I've been kind of plotting and planning is as well as anyone else seeing this video, I'd love to have you on the podcast. But just starting to develop these relationships for the future, because many of you guys are attending really really good colleges, as well as doing this stuff on the side. So any business idea of people and capital, and once again this idea of teamwork. I think who knows where the future takes us. I'm going to be supporting Six Man Hustle regardless.
Appreciate it.
And, I'd love to actually form a team eventually, get some people together, hopefully that I can find to participate as well. So yeah, I mean, Noah, dude, I really appreciate having you on the podcast. Once again, be kind, and Zoom. I appreciate the ability for us to hop on here and record a video, as well as store it. I think that's awesome, and you know, I guess we've closed out a couple of times. I guess finally, just generally, is there anything you'd like to say to anyone watching this?
Um, I don't know. I mean, just first off, a huge thank you to you, Will, for having me on here. Yeah, I had a really good time just kind of talking about stuff. You had some really interesting questions. And thank you for your support of the brand. Will is by far one of our biggest supporters, so just a huge shout out to him for that. As far as any last advice I'd give, I feel like a broken record at this point, but if you've got something you're passionate about, just go for it, and do it with somebody, or yeah, no, do it with somebody. Don't go it alone. That goes for business, school, life in general. Don't do it alone. Find someone else you can weather the storm with. So that's my
Yeah,
closing advice.
yeah, cool. Yeah, I think teamwork, dedication, Six Man Hustle, main points of this, generally speaking, and yeah. So I guess without further ado, guys, I know I'd love to get you back on the podcast in the next couple months, as well as good luck with
Great.
school. And hopefully we'll be in touch
Thank
here
you.
and there throughout the next, couple months, year or so. And I'll be posting
For
this
sure.
very soon. So yeah, Purpose Project. We'll see you guys soon.